I want to share with you guys a little bit about this paradigm shift that I've had in our overall approach to what we're trying to create. And what I think is interesting is I think that this stems nicely into where the general public is and where everyone is in line with kind of like our vision, our thoughts, and our philosophies. So my mission, my goal, and my purpose is to create a family, you guys, of humble, hungry, happy people that are void of disease and live at full capacities into their 90s. That's really what excites me, and it really is. The people that have been close to me, and you guys have heard me talk about this so much. It's not about six-packs or winning the CrossFit Games. It's really about this longevity play. And here's the interesting part about this, is I kind of use this teardrop-shaped model to kind of exemplify where we are in this. And it's a teardrop on purpose because it's a little bit sad. Okay, so here's the deal. There's about 5% of the population, and this is my guesstimations. This has nothing to do with studies or true demographics or surveys or anything else. This is just me throwing numbers to create an example and give some poignancy to what I'm talking about. I think there's a very small population, maybe about 5% of the US population, maybe the world, we can talk about that get it. That they get it, right? These people are eating real food, not too much. They're doing functional movements at high intensity. Now that sounds a lot like CrossFit, but there's probably people out there that aren't doing CrossFit that still get it. We're not worried about those people. We're not worried about most of you guys in here. Some of us in here get it, and some of us are still like haven't totally drank the Kool-Aid type just yet. But the people that have, the people that are eating clean, and they're eating the right amounts, and they're focusing on their sleep and lowering their stress levels, and they're working hard in the gym 5 or 6 days a week. We got it. We're not going to get sick at the same rates as everybody else. That's the deal. It's not about we are going to look better on the beach and we're going to perform better in the open. We're going to do that as well, but that is a side effect. It's symptomatic of what we're really doing. Now there's another population that are trying really hard. This is where I was, and I gave this talk this morning, and I had about 5 or 6 people come up to me afterwards and be like, that was me, that are trying really hard. These are the people that are just misinformed. They're trying and they're doing the right things, but they just don't totally get it. Me, when I was doing Ironman triathlons and having Gatorades and Cliff Bars and goos all throughout the day to fuel my activity. These are people that are doing Gatorades, they're doing fat-free bagels, having Cliff Bars, drinking soy milk and juicing. They're running marathons, doing bodybuilding, Pilates, and bar class. They're doing it. They're working hard. They're sacrificing a lot in the kitchen and spending time at the gym. They're doing all the hard stuff. They just aren't quite as informed. They haven't had the curtain pulled back yet. Unfortunately, these people might be moving the needle a little bit, but they're not moving it nearly as far as we would hope them that they actually could be doing. Then there's a huge population, the majority, maybe 70% of America. And this makes sense because 7 out of 10 people in America die needlessly from chronic disease. Chronic disease are many forms of cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, dementia, diabetes, and the list goes on. There's about 31 chronic diseases. The crazy part about that is that they're not, for the most part, genetic or environmental. It's not a matter of luck, they're behavioral. Unfortunately, this huge population doesn't see that. They don't get it. These are people that are saying working out and eating clean is only about looking good. Disease is about luck or genetics. If I get sick, that's what medication's for. Really, it's a sad thing that they haven't been opened up to this yet. It's not about looking good. It's not about six packs. It's not about the open. The reason we are here, the reason we exist, is so that you guys be kicking it with your grandkids when you're 88 years old. Not a hindrance to the family, a huge bonus and plus, where the kids want to go visit grandma and grandpa. That's what we're really trying to create. And the cool thing is, we're doing it. We have, in Greg Glassman's word, an elegant solution to the world's most vexing problems, i.e. chronic disease, disguised as a sport. So cool. It looks like we're coming in here and playing games. What was your score today? Did I beat you? Did I win? What was the competition? I'm getting better and all that stuff. By numbers and working out and having fun. Yet we're the only people, and you can talk about it, is it the workouts or is it the nutrition or is it the lifestyle? The answer is yes. It's all three of those things combined. It's not one thing by itself, but together, the cool thing is, we're the only people doing this. It's really crazy. The other crazy part about that is that huge, vast majority of the people, it's not like the couch potatoes, and it's not the people that are just like, I don't care. It is our schools, our government, the medical community, and the general population. It's a long battle we're up against because it's wrought with this idea that medicine will save us, and it's all, we cure it, and there is no such thing as prevention because it's just a genetic or a luck play. Now, there is a small percent of the population as well down here that are just like, screw it. And we're not going to change these people. These people that are still smoking cigarettes, they have donuts for breakfast every day, and they go to McDonald's every day for lunch. They know that stuff is bad for them, and they do it anyway. Here's my take, is these people up here that got it, in terms of their behavior, they're doing it well, and they have the knowledge, so everything they do is moving the needle in the right direction. The people here that are trying, they have good behavior. They're trying really hard. They just don't have, it hasn't been pulled back. They think Gatorade is what they should be fueling themselves on. And they believe that holding a stretch for 90 minutes is what's going to get them fitter. These are people that kind of get sucked into maybe like some infomercial type things. Down here, the behavior is bad and the knowledge is bad. And they're just like, huh? They just don't get it at all just yet. And if you want to think about that, schools. What are schools feeding our kids every day for lunch? I was just talking with one of our members who sends their kid to a very elite private school. The private school, after every single meal, including snacks, gives their kids brownies after the snack. After the lunch, they give them cheesecake. This is what they're feeding it, giving it to them. They're giving their kids cheesecake every single day. Not at some inner city, school that doesn't have the resources. This is a very elite private school. The medical community. My mother-in-law went into the hospital for a diabetic reaction. After they regulated her blood sugar by pumping her full of insulin, and they got her back to baseline, they gave her her first meal, which was macaroni and cheese, apple juice, and Jell-O. Guess what happened? Right? Shocker. But what do? That's no problem, because we treat it with more insulin. I was talking to somebody else this morning, and another member came up, and they were saying that their wife went in, and when their wife went in for a surgery, I think it was on their elbow, they said, what would you like for your meal? And they chose their meal, and they said, what would you like to drink? And they said, water. And they said, their response was, you know that we have soda. We have Sprite, and we have Coke, and we have diet sodas as well. Wouldn't you prefer that? Now, there's also the general population, because this is what we've all been thinking, this is what we've been taught. Now, I'm not here to say this is everybody. There are some schools that get it, and they're doing a phenomenal job. And that's amazing. And there are some mayors and governors and some lobbyists and some people that are doing things for our government that aren't buying into the food pyramid and 6 to 12 servings of grain every day. They're doing an amazing job. And are there nurses and doctors that get it and are doing an amazing job? Absolutely. Unfortunately, it's just the real small majority. We are up against a big uphill battle. So what I believe is these people up here, in terms of the change, symbol for change, these people, we don't have to worry about these people. They're doing it. We got them, most of you guys. The people down here, they're doing the hard part already. They're already making the change in the kitchen and the gym and making sacrifices. All we have to do is give them, pull back the curtain a little bit and show them the better way, and they can change in an hour, a day, a week, a month, or whatever. That's going to be an easy change. We get them in here, you talk to them about it, and they'll do it. This down here, the change is going to be at least a decade, if not generational. I believe that we're about 10 years away, but if you guys remember, about 10 years ago in the 90s, we were talking about low fat. And now, just now, fast forward 10 to 15 years, now we're starting to realize it's the sugar play. Everyone that was here from day one knows that we were talking about sugar from day one. But it takes about 10 years, at least a decade, to make some dent. I feel like we made some dent. So in another 10 years, we might have swung these things a little bit. But I believe that we are, at worst, probably a generation away. I think if we teach our kids the right stuff, our kids grow up and they change this stuff. Because then they become the ones that are the doctors and the nurses. They become the teachers and the educators. They become the politicians and the policymakers. The people down here, we're not going to change them. It's just the deal. They are the people that know it's bad for them and they're just making those choices anyway. We're not going to put our efforts down there because it's a futile effort. My hope is that you guys, as the indoctrinated ones, fully take realization that we don't need to be here. Hopefully no one's here. That we move up to here at least. That we're all trying really hard. And then from there, as long as we're all trying really hard, if we can really get to the point where we're making these little tweaks and movements here and there, we get to this spot where we are doing exactly what we hope to be doing, which is building a family of humble, hungry, happy people, void of disease, that kick ass into their 90s. Thanks, guys. Let's give 3 claps on 3. 1, 2, 3. Woo!